This is NECO July 2023 General Mathematics, the paper 2, question number 9B, and the question reads, Mr. John took a loan of 120,000 naira at 12% per annum compound interest to buy a piece of land. So there are two questions there. Roman 1 says, if he paid the loan in 3 years, what was the total money paid? And Roman 2 says, find his profit if he later sold that very land at the rate of 350,000 naira without incurring any additional expenses. So let us attempt to answer these two questions together. So starting with the very first question, Mr. Tony borrowed this money in order to buy a piece of land from the bank, and the bank charges the 12% per annum compound interest. And he paid the loan in 3 years. So we are interested in the amount of money he paid. The amount of money paid will now be the original money borrowed plus the interest that was accrued in these 3 years. That will give us the amount of money he paid. So the amount is given by the formula. Remember, for compound interest, E equals to P multiplied by, inside the bracket, you have 1 plus R over 100, and the bracket raised to the power of n, where A stands for the amount, that is the final amount. P is the original money borrowed, which is now the principal, while R is the rate of interest, and N is the number of years. So substituting here, we are interested in finding the final amount, E. So I have P as 120,000 naira, and I have R as this 12% and N this 3 years. So substituting correctly, you now have 120,000 multiplied by the bracket. Inside the bracket is 1 plus 12 over 100, and the bracket raised to the power of 3. So dividing 12 by 100 and adding the result to this one gives answer 1.12 raised to the power of 3. The power 3, I just copied it. So finding the value of this very power 1.12 raised to the power of 3, finding this very power correctly give result 1.404928. And multiplying these two values, that is 120,000 multiplied by 1.404928 correctly, gives a result 168,591 naira 36 kobo. This will now be the amount of money that is going to pay the bank after 3 years. So Roman 1 has now been answered. So I move answer Roman 2, which now asks us to find his profit. He asks to find his profit if he later sold this piece of land at the rate of 350,000 naira. So profit is now going to be selling price, which is 350, minus the cost price. The cost price, of course, is now going to be 168,591, because this is what is now going to pay the bank. So it is as if it is the cost of the piece of land. So the final profit is now going to be 350,000 naira minus the amount that he paid the bank, 168,591.36 kobo. So doing this subtraction correctly, you now have 181,408 naira 64 kobo. This will now be his profit. So let me just share with you how marks are distributed in this very question in the official NECO marking scheme. So the very first mark for Roman 1 is the method 1 marker, and this method 1 mark is substituting the P 120,000, the R 12%, and the N 3, making that substitution correctly. In attempt to find the final amount, you have this method 1 mark. The next mark is for simplifying this in attempt to get the final result. You have this method 1 mark. And when you have the final amount as 168,591.36 kobo, you have this accuracy 1 mark. So this question Roman 1B has 3 good marks. So Roman 2, it is marking scheme. You have the very first mark for the subtraction of the cost from the selling price. You have this method 1 mark. And when you now do the subtraction correctly and have answer 181,408 naira 64 kobo exactly, you have this accuracy 1 mark. So the Roman 2 has the 2 good marks.